I never imagined I'd end up in a police station one day. And if that wasn't bad enough, it wasn't even as the one reporting the incident. Luckily, after hearing the whole story, the officer gave a fair and final verdict. This is mutual assault. I couldn't agree more. Cradling the paper cup he handed me, I took a satisfied sip of hot water. It tasted like rust. Blood ran from the corner of my mouth. In the window, my reflection, swollen like a pig's head, grinned back at me, baring its teeth. Chapter 1. Getting into a fight with your boyfriend bad enough that he calls the cops. The whole thing was actually pretty straightforward. Today is June 26th, Luis's birthday. After 5 years together, our relationship has smoothly entered the nothing left to say phase. Still, 5 years isn't short. I decided to try and rescue what was left. So I cooked a whole table full of dishes and waited for him to come home. When he saw the food, he didn't look thrilled. I asked him to wash his hands. He casually flipped his phone face down on the table. That tiny movement triggered my gut instinct. I turned the phone over, and right then, a text popped up. "Baby, are you home yet?" Oh, he was home all right. Not only home, this was the end of the line for us. Cheating senses never lie. My veins started popping. So did Luis, straight out of the kitchen like a rabid dog. Rushing to grab his phone, I didn't let go. He gave it everything he had. We wrestled, overturning every chair and table in the process. I asked him, "You gonna hit me now?" Before I even finished the sentence, smack, Luis swung and slapped me so hard it rang. The force, he was trying to kill me. Well, if I'm going down, he's not walking away either. I grabbed a stool. We fought like wild animals in a cage. In the end, I won with sheer tenacity. I'm stubborn, even if he was physically stronger. I was committed to dragging us both into the abyss, but he had his baby to go back to. No need to go down with me, so he called the cops. The police listened to both sides and suggested reconciliation. They didn't pick a side. Our injuries were obvious. Luis did throw the first punch, but I beat him to a bloody pulp, covered in bruises. Luis looked stunned. He was still hoping the cops would take his side and give me hell. Not only did he want to hit me, he wanted me to deserve it. I calmly watched him rage, until the officer shut him up. "You hit her first. Look what you did to this girl." She fought back. "It's self-defense if she presses charges." "You think you're in the right? Don't want to settle? Fine. We'll go by the book." Luis visibly deflated. Go by the book. And there'd be a criminal record for both of us. With his good job, he had no choice but to agree to reconcile. He said, "I don't blame you for hitting me hard. I'll pay the medical bills. After 5 years together, let's just call it even today." That one line. He tried to control the narrative 3 times. Seems my stable personality during the relationship made him think he was on a higher moral ground. So, to reset his perception of me, I solemnly told the officer, I refused to reconcile. I skipped past the shock of being cheated on. No denial. Just straight up rage and retaliation. Luis clearly wasn't prepared for my level of aggression. His imagined hero complex romance had no place for a woman as unyielding as me. He panicked and tried to appeal emotionally. I told him to get lost. He said I was being unreasonable. He was right. I wasn't just unreasonable, my adrenaline was through the roof. He told me not to go crazy. I told him he hadn't seen crazy yet. He was at a loss. I was completely immune to reason. The conversation went nowhere, since I refused to settle. The cops sent us both for medical evaluation. After leaving the station, I went to get my car, snapped a selfie in front of the police station, posted it on my feed, blocked a few people, and made our breakup public. Forget quiet resolutions or graceful exits. Cheating and hitting me? I'll split your damn skull open. Chapter 2. My post on social media went viral quickly. I smiled in satisfaction. My wounds hurt like hell. But that only made my grin more twisted, 1 part sarcasm, 9 parts grotesque. Then I drove myself to the hospital with a face swollen and shiny like a polished wok lid. After the checkup, I grabbed a bowl of street wontons, ate, and went home to sleep. Luis and I had been together for 5 years. Financially, we kept things mostly separate. We each had our own place. That turned out to be a huge blessing post-breakup. The next day, My face had reached new levels of swollen, but I still went to work like a fearless warrior. The fight had happened, and I refused to settle. I needed to know how this might affect my job. I took the direct elevator up to the office, only to find my boss, Nestor, standing by the secretary's desk. He leaned casually, tall and built like a fighter, with sharp features that looked like they were carved by God during a thunderstorm. One look at him and you'd think he negotiates business deals with his fists. The secretary had mysteriously vanished. Nestor gave me a once-over, calm and unsurprised, eyes raking over my battle damage. Then he asked, deadpan, "So, did you win or lose?" Crap. Did I forget to block my boss from last night's post? I was confused, but didn't hide it. This was exactly why I came in. So I answered honestly, I won. He raised an eyebrow. Won what? Inner peace? Nestor has a real gift for throwing daggers with a deadpan face. He takes special joy in ripping people's facades apart. His family made their fortune in steel, but he chose IT, with a savage personality and serious tech skills. He stormed through the industry like a hurricane. The only reason no one's beaten him up is probably because they can't. Given his physical stats, he has every right to judge me. I ignored his sarcasm and got to the point. I don't plan to settle. I'll probably have a record. He replied smoothly. So it's 1,000 points of damage to the enemy. 800 to yourself. You should have just stood there and taken it. Huh? And just let us brawl like two amateurs? That better? At least I didn't lose. Right, you could have destroyed him, but chose to beat him half to death instead. Nestor was particularly chatty today. I smirked. What's got you so salty? Did I mess with your mood? He went speechless. Didn't expect me to flip the table on him. Huh? Now whether he denies it or admits it, either way, he's exposed. He glared at me, eyes saying, get out, but I pressed again. Boss, will this affect my job? His tone turned cold. Why didn't you ask before ending up in a police station? I was busy fighting. You sound proud. I'd say you're feeling pretty invincible. Well, of course. In this company, the salespeople who can code aren't as good as me. And the tech folks who can sell don't sell as well as I do. And working with Nestor? Most people can't keep up with his energy. Morning meetings, afternoons skydiving, pulling an all-nighter today, scaling mountains tomorrow. He thinks 6 hours of sleep is lazy. Even his secretaries rotate in shifts. But I, in sales, am always on call. So yeah, I am a little fearless. Nestor and I have known each other for 10 years. We were classmates in college. Same major. The only reason I've managed such a wide-ranging career is because of him. At first, we didn't talk much. Then one day, we got randomly paired for a group project. To get into our school, you had to be a genius. But even among overachievers, Nestor stood out. I'd heard the rumors before we met, but they didn't do him justice. His strategic thinking was razor sharp. His approach to problems always unique. And his industry predictions were scarily accurate. He wasn't just smart, he was smart with money. He was my glimpse into a brighter future. This guy was worth sticking to. In college, friendships always started with meals. I began asking him to eat with me often. He never said no. Our shared love for learning soon extended to mealtimes. 3 years passed with us eating together, almost daily. Then one day, I was eating a bowl of pork and egg stir-fry over rice, munching on a carrot slice, when he leaned in and whispered, "I'm starting a company. Want in?" My heart exploded. I almost cried from the excitement. Finally. Bro, do you know how long I've been waiting? But I played it cool, still chewing. I asked, "Wow, that's sudden." He gave me a side eye. "Come on, how many meals have you invested in me? Don't you want a return?" "I do." "Then start preparing." "Okay." But I was curious. I mean, plenty of people probably want to start a business with you, right? He shrugged. "They're all after my looks. You're the only one into my brain." I was stunned. "Wait, has no one in your entire life noticed you're smart?" He rolled his eyes, for the first time ever. "No one can keep up with my brain." "Oh please." "When we worked on that project, it was smooth sailing. That's because I had you." Chapter 3. Aw. I got it. What Nestor really meant was, I know how to read the room. Put a bunch of high IQ youngsters together, and conflict is bound to happen. Everyone thinks they're right. Disagreements are normal. It's not rare for a group to end things on a sour note. Luckily, among their sky-high egos and clashing pride, there was one person who could play all sides, me. It's rare to find a group that doesn't slack off or shove responsibilities around. How could I let it fall apart? Since I was little, my parents taught me, when problems come up, fix them. It's normal to have emotions after a fight, but the key is to adjust, to solve the problem, not just vent about it. I learned that lesson well. Not only could I adjust my own pace, I could even adjust others. My years with Nestor weren't wasted. He saw that in me. I beamed. So what role do you think I'm best suited for? Sales. Sales? Not RD. Not admin. Not even anything remotely related to our field of study. After all that praise. Sales? I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I blurted out, "Why?" He said with absolute certainty, "You're the kind of person who should be sent out." I had a vague feeling he was insulting me, but turns out, he wasn't wrong. After we launched the company, I was in charge of B2B sales, a job that truly unlocked my potential. I actually liked it, which made me care about it even more. So when Nestor confirmed my job was safe, I mustered all my energy and gave him a painfully awkward smile. "All right, I'm heading back to work then." He looked at me, face swollen, smile worse than a crying child, and frowned hard. "Where?" "To work." "You sure?" Of course I was. "Listen, I've gotta at least get one of two things in life, money or a man." Nestor choked, then waved me off, exasperated. Ending the conversation, he let me have this impulsive moment. He didn't ask whether I was still plotting Luis's downfall either. My rational side was back in control, back in the office. I checked my phone. WeChat was blowing up with comments and messages, helping me piece together the whole timeline of Luis's secret affair. You know how they say the wife is always the last to know about the cheating? Well, it applies to girlfriends too. Life never lacks spectators. I posted that photo just for this moment. I kept swiping through the chaos until I landed on someone. Marco, Luis's boss Pablo's archrival. He'd sent a message. "How are the injuries? I've got a friend who's a forensic doctor. When you've got time, go get an official exam. He can help." Such aggressive compassion. Every word radiated warm, calculated strength. Marco basically stopped just short of saying, "If you're ready to act, I've got the tools to ruin Luis." Who would have thought the first alpha billionaire type in my life would show up not to chase me, but to crush my ex? I was genuinely touched. I replied right away, "You're too kind. Just say the word, and dinner's on me." Marco went quiet for a bit, then replied, "How's the day after tomorrow?" "Perfect. 6 p.m. I'll be waiting at Joy Garden Restaurant. Does that work for you?" "Sounds good," he replied. This is the perk of my job. Every client is a potential ally, and benefits always come first. In the workplace, it's just another jungle. In a rigid company like Luis's, where one person fills one spot, competition is brutal. One slip up and you'll be chewed up and spat out. But I didn't want to destroy Luis directly. What I really wanted was to make him not even worth destroying, just like he tried to make me not worth anything back at the police station. Chapter 4. I checked my phone again. Nearly 100 missed calls and texts from Luis were in the blacklist. Even without opening them, I could feel his panic radiating through the screen. Funny how he never chased me like this when we were in love. Clearly, hate cuts deeper than love ever could. Knowing he was anxious gave me a sense of balance. I tossed the phone aside and got back to work. Time flies when you're focused. Before I knew it, it was the end of the workday. My department has a no overtime culture unless it's for networking. My assistant came over to ask if I needed her to stay. She usually never asks. Salespeople are good at reading the room. I could see the gossip glinting in her eyes. I told her, "Everyone can leave now." She nodded calmly. "Got it. You should head out soon too." In a flash, the whole sales department emptied out, leaving me behind, fingers dancing across the keyboard. The breakup gave me time to hustle. Work helped ease the pain. No one can suffer in your place. Your heartbreak is yours to bear alone. 5 years of love, gone in a heartbeat. Once someone turns their back, no matter how much it hurts, you have no reason to chase them. Even the deepest attachment can't excuse betrayal. So how do you survive heartbreak? You grit your teeth and push through it. I pushed through the ache, pushed through the emotional rebounds, pushed through the indecision. Just past 7 p.m., someone suddenly flung open my office door. Still here? Nestor's broad shoulders blocked most of the doorway. No events tonight? I looked up at him. I canceled. What? You planning to work overtime with a bruised face? I'll be in administrative detention in a few days. Just wanted to wrap up some things. Nestor rubbed his temples. In my whole life, I've never heard a crazier excuse for overtime. It's the truth. A ridiculous truth. He pushed the door open fully. Let's go. Dinner. I've got work. You go down. I step in. The company won't collapse. Fine. I stood up. What are we eating? You pick. I'll drive you home after. The food didn't matter. What mattered was that Nestor was driving me home. I picked a porridge place. While we waited for the food, I asked, "So, is there something you wanted to say?" He was more patient than me. Only after filling the table with side dishes did he speak. Still planning to rent that place? Across a sea of white porridge, I looked him in the eye. You worried Luis will harass me? I'm worried you'll snap and kill him. You really get me. That got me thinking, maybe I should move. Nestor ladled some porridge into a bowl and passed it to me. If you're moving, come live in my complex. The security is solid. Strong enough to hold me down? Strong enough to hold down a bull. Fair enough. I take good advice seriously. Once I made up my mind to move, I acted immediately. But Nestor was even faster. One phone call later, a professional moving crew showed up at my place asking for the building code. Shouldn't I rent a place first? I asked. I have 2 units. Just move in. He was being way too generous. I squinted at him. You hiding some ulterior motive? Nestor suddenly went serious. Amelia, you know you're not acting normal, right? Of course I know. What heartbroken person is normal? Nestor's gaze grew heavier. That's the problem. Being messed up after a breakup is normal. But you're too calm. It's not normal. Ah, I see. My lack of tears or tantrums was making him nervous. He thought I'd gone numb, and I owed it to his concern to give him some kind of reaction. I've lost all faith in love, I said blankly. So maybe cut me a break on the rent. Help restore my hope in life? Nestor looked at me, this shameless little goblin, and chuckled. Forget the discount. Just live there. No rent. Come on. I didn't earn this. What's the catch? It's a company benefit. Deal. That very night, I moved into Nestor's 200 square meter penthouse, drank purified water from a limited edition crystal wine glass, took my anti-inflammatories like a queen. A woman who values money doesn't self-destruct easily. My love for wealth helped ease his worries. I've got parents, friends, and a career. Why would I lose myself over a man who doesn't love me? Who cheated on me? Who hit me? Heartbreak isn't enough to ruin me. That slap on the face, that was the fuel that lit my fire. Luis kept trying to contact me. He even sent mutual friends to play mediator. They all said the same thing. You're being unreasonable. These matters should be handled privately. I gave them all the same answer. One more word, and I'll send a male escort to your wives. If y'all are so eager to sacrifice others, fine. Let's wear the green hats together. Chapter 5. No one dared to speak on Luis's behalf anymore. I had a peaceful day. When the day of my meeting with Marco arrived, I went straight to Joy Grand Hotel after work. I've always had the habit of arriving early. I reserved the private room and selected the wine and dishes in advance. Marco arrived just on time. He brought 2 people I'd met before, Ryan, his trusted right-hand man, and Oliver, the grandson of his mentor. Bringing these 2 to the meeting showed me Marco's intentions. We had a warm and friendly conversation. We chatted about daily life, international affairs, and random industry gossip. Just as the meal was winding down and everyone was full, Marco suddenly changed the subject. Luis really went too far. I sighed, playing the victim just right. I never thought he'd treat me like that. Marco nodded, voice deep. But you didn't agree to get a medical report, can't let it go? It's not that. I smiled at myself. I just think it's unnecessary. Oh. Yes, if he gets fired now, it'll just be a passing story in a few years. You'd owe a favor for nothing. Not worth it. Marco seemed thoughtful. Then what do you think is the better move? Nail the broken piece to the board, make him the permanent disgrace of the team. In companies like theirs, messy personal lives are tolerable, as long as they don't become public leverage. Marco and Pablo had been in a power tug-of-war for years. Firing Luis after the scandal wouldn't be enough. Pablo could just pick a new assistant and rebuild. But if Luis stays, dragging Pablo down, Marco can keep leveraging it long-term. No need to fake a medical report or risk criminal charges. Both Marco and Pablo have connections. If Pablo gets cornered and starts digging, it could backfire on Marco. Let's keep it clean. Mutual assault is what it is. We live in a society ruled by law, no fabrications. I sacrificed the chance for revenge to prove my loyalty. Marco saw that clearly. He laughed loudly and clapped. You're something else. His eyes lit up like stage lights as he raised his glass. Don't worry. I've got your back at the company. Luis won't be able to mess with you again that easily. I stood and said, thank you. I'll toast you with tea instead of wine. Our glasses clinked. In that sip, the deal was sealed. Marco left first. I went to the front desk to settle the bill, then doubled back to the room next door to eavesdrop. Even before I opened the door, I could hear Oliver's voice. I don't think she should have hit back. Men are stronger. She should have just called the police. Ryan chuckled. If she hadn't fought back, Luis would have slapped her a few times to teach her a lesson, and it would have blown over. Even if she did report it, without serious injuries, the company would have backed Luis. Oh, really? Oliver sounded like a fresh grad getting his first taste of reality. Yeah, Ryan said. But she fought back. Turned it into a mess. She posted those photos online selectively. You think it was an emotional outburst? Nah, it was a message aimed at people who matter. The police were called by Luis himself. She turned the whole thing into his personal mistake, unrelated to the company. But why didn't she let Marco help? And why keep Luis in the company? Amelia's no rookie. She's been in the game. Getting Marco involved directly would be risky. Doing it herself and dragging Luis down, now that earns Marco a favor. If Marco rises, her company benefits. As for Luis, he loses this job. He might go nuts. You always leave a rope. If you tie it right, it becomes a chain to leash a dog that bites. Now Pablo's stuck. His golden boy blew it, and he can't even fire him cleanly. You bet he's dying to get rid of Luis. Small bait, big fish, knife by proxy. You should learn from Amelia. She's savage, Oliver said, stunned. Is everyone in this industry like this? Not you. You've got your dad. So what's the company going to do? What else? Follow protocol. Handle it seriously. I left at that point. Everything was unfolding exactly as I had planned. Luis and we were done. Luis was ambitious. He used every means to climb the ladder. But for someone like that, the worst punishment wasn't a sudden downfall, it was slow suffocation. Let him keep a sliver of hope, then crush him again and again. Let him watch his peers surpass him while he stays stuck, helpless and humiliated. That's his punishment. Chapter 6. Before the second mediation at the police station, I knew Luis would try to reach out again. Blocking his number and moving out wouldn't be enough to shake him off. I mentally prepared for everything. 1 day passed, then 2. As the mediation date drew near, I received an unexpected call. I didn't think much of the unfamiliar number and answered casually. Hello, who's this? There was a brief silence on the other end. Then, after a sigh, hi, I'm Eva. My gut instinct kicked in again. How did you get my number? Eva clearly didn't expect me to be so direct. She hesitated. Do you know who I am? Eva, let me ask the questions first. Maybe it was my alpha energy. She answered honestly. I checked his phone. He saved your number as number 10,000. Luis, what a goddamn genius. I almost laughed. So, what do you want? I'd like to meet with you. Is that really necessary? Don't worry. I just want to talk. I want to know how many lies he told me. Logically, I had no need to meet her. Luis cheated and hit me. I broke up with him and fought back. The details of his affair didn't matter anymore. But emotionally? I did want to know just how deep the lies went. So I agreed. Picked a hotel I often went to and set the time right after work. Eva seemed a bit overwhelmed. Isn't this a bit rushed? I offered. Want to wait until you're married and have a baby? Maybe during your postpartum confinement? Eva quickly matched my tone. I'll be there on time. We met without any surprises. At the hotel, we looked each other over. I was in a business suit. She wore a form-fitting dress. My face was swollen. Hers was perfectly made up. I ordered a set menu. Asked if she wanted anything. She was understandably reserved. I'm not that hungry. I understood. People who get cheated on rarely have an appetite. Wine. Tea. Coffee? Wine. I guess. I ordered her a bottle. Alcohol makes people relax. She downed a glass and took a moment before speaking. You move fast. So fast no one saw it coming. Speed is unbeatable. You're really impressive. I blinked. Did you come here to compliment me? She laughed. Her pretty face showed a hint of embarrassment. Not really, just. I don't think I could have done what you did. Still a compliment though. I chewed on my steak and listened to her story like a bystander. A very predictable affair. Luis played both sides. She was a new hire at his company, came from a well-off family. During his pursuit, he completely hid my existence. Their relationship was heating up fast when bam, he got his face restructured. The injuries were dramatic, too intense to come up with a convincing lie. He told me he tripped and fell. I asked him if he fell on a pitchfork. I liked this girl. He was acting super shady. At first, I wondered if someone's boyfriend caught him in bed. Didn't expect it was you who beat him up. All thanks to adrenaline. He lied to both of us. He's a terrible person, but I still love him. You're a good person. He cried. Crocodile tears. He buys me lunch every day. The cafeteria is 2 minutes downstairs. He replies to all my messages instantly. I treat clients the same way. He picks me up and drops me off from work. I did the math. He skipped 6 days this month. In our relationship, there was a her. In theirs, there was a me. Luis split his love into 2 equal parts, trying to get maximum returns with minimal investment. To him, both Eva and I were just investments. Choosing the better one had nothing to do with love. Chapter 7. Because I kept dismantling her illusions, Eva fell silent, deep in thought. She was smart. All her excuses for Luis were just emotional entanglements. I stayed quiet with her for a while until she finally looked up and asked, Luis, he only ever loved himself. Didn't he? Did you come today hoping I'd prove he loved you? At first, yes. Eva gave a bitter smile. I really hoped you were a terrible girlfriend. That way, I could blame everything on you. I know I have no right, and I know it's wrong, but sometimes, people are just that low. Eva was baring her heart. I listened quietly. When she finished, I called for the waiter. Miss, how can I assist you? I need to book a room for a client. He has stomach issues and mild OCD. Of course, we'll prepare new bedding, fresh toiletries, warm purified water, and assign a private concierge. Will that be acceptable? Yes. I'll text the room number to your assistant shortly. All right. The waiter left with a professional smile. I turned back to Eva without a word. She looked confused. What do you mean by that? You're not short on money. What you lack is care. She instantly understood. She murmured. With money, attentive care is everywhere. If emotional value can be bought, why did Luis's care feel so special? Because Eva believed Luis's affection came with no strings attached, but didn't realize her worth had long been evaluated behind the scenes. She'd fallen deep, her logic smothered by emotions, caught between Luis's lies and tears. Avoidance may feel like a cure, but all it does is prolong the pain. It drains your self-esteem, wears down your mental state, and leaves you a mess. Torn apart by indecision, I'd said all I needed to say. What to do next, that was Eva's decision. I pushed aside my empty plate and stood up. I've got things to do. I'm sorry, she blurted out. Seeing me about to leave, I paused. That apology, she continued. It's for the malicious thoughts I had about you at the beginning. I didn't respond, just looked at her lost expression. The inexperience of someone freshly out in the real world still clung to her eyes. I used to be like her once. If not for Luis, she and I would have remained strangers, maybe even business partners in the future. But we wouldn't be like this. Too much shared. Too fast. She'd regret it later. Let's leave it all in the past. I pointed at her. And don't forget to eat properly. Eva's sorrow froze at the corners of her eyes. She hadn't expected me to fixate so much on food. I hadn't expected myself to stay so calm either. As I left the hotel, a familiar car pulled up to the curb. I leaned over and greeted. Boss. Out for a stroll? Strolling my ass. Nestor leaned toward the passenger side. Come on, I'll take you home. I've got a car. It's sitting at the office rent-free. Fine. Ever since I started enjoying company perks, my car had been gathering dust. Lately, no matter where I went, Nestor had this magical ability to always show up. We commuted together, talked more intimately than in the past 10 years combined. At one point I suspected I hadn't been working hard enough. And that's why Nestor had so much time to tag along. Sure enough, as soon as I got in the car, he asked bluntly, "What did you two talk about?" I rolled my eyes internally but gave him a quick rundown. When I finished, he said, "You got cheated on, beaten, and tracked down, and you still had the energy to counsel her? She got lied to, was the other woman without knowing it, and got dragged into it. We're both victims. I couldn't exactly beat her up too. So do you think you talked sense into her? Whether she's enlightened or not won't stop Luis from getting destroyed at work. So you don't resent her at all?" I caught the undertone in his question and raised an eyebrow. Eva's dad is Cameron, right? The regional head of their branch office? Chapter 8. Figured it out? Not a common surname. Watch out. Just because she seems kind doesn't mean she is. Did you know Cameron got reassigned? Really? To a busy post or a quiet one? Quiet. Knowing internal changes in our partner companies is basic in our line of work. The moment Eva told me her last name, I had my suspicions. Seeing I hadn't rushed to the meeting blindly, Nestor relaxed a bit. All right then, send a note to the secretary's office about their personnel changes tomorrow. I'll arrange a meeting when the time is right. Okay. I curled up in the passenger seat, tilted my head, and stared at Nestor. What? He asked. Boss. Feel like having a drink? You want me to kick you out? You just took meds this afternoon. Fair point. Then how about tea? Do you have to drink something? A snack then? Didn't you just eat? Luis hasn't harassed me lately. You blocked him, didn't you? I caught him off guard. Nestor didn't answer right away, but he didn't panic either. He calmly drove past 2 intersections before responding. Yeah. I waited 2 blocks before replying. Oh, his pupils contracted. That's it? That's it. This is how adults say no, by pretending not to understand. After knowing Nestor for so many years, I could read him like a book. A man who always kept business and personal life separate suddenly breaking the rule? Either the matter was special, or the person was. In this age of fleeting attention, I dared assume it was the person. I mercilessly shut down the spark in Nestor's heart. I wasn't in the right place for a new relationship. This man, always so sharp in business, was momentarily stunned. After giving me a death stare, he said, "Your parents are blocked too. Deal with them when you can." Got it. Nestor must have used up all his patience on me. He never interfered with my decisions or forced my hand. He blocked Luis purely to stop another physical fight. Though, frankly, I doubted Luis had the guts to try again. I accepted Nestor's kindness and went back to working late as usual. When it was time for our second mediation, Nestor insisted on driving me to the police station. When I entered, I saw Luis. He wore a blazer, dress pants, and a white shirt. I wore a suit dress and heels, handbag in hand. We looked far too composed for 2 people who had once exchanged blows. He walked over and politely said, "Amelia, I'd like to talk to you." He looked only at me, ignoring Nestor completely. His emotions were tightly restrained. I glanced at Nestor. Luis's words were meant for me, but the performance was for Nestor. Nestor looked at me, then smiled at Luis and said, "I'll wait outside." Suddenly, I saw fear in Luis. Clearly, Nestor hadn't just blocked the harassment, he'd made threats. Let's talk. I agreed. After 5 years together, I was curious. What new tricks could this man possibly pull? Chapter 9. We moved to a corner of the courtyard. He didn't apologize. Didn't show remorse. He went straight to blaming everything on Eva. Eva tempted him. Eva clung to him. Eva seduced him. He was passive. Innocent. The victim. He was panicking. And I was sick of this textbook blame-shifting nonsense. Disgusted. I cut him off. Enough. Whether she seduced you or you pursued her, it has nothing to do with the fact you cheated and lied to me. Hurting me was your choice, and I only retaliate against you. I know what you're thinking, so let me make it easy. I won't settle. Luis looked like he was having a heart attack. My brutal clarity ignited his fury. Gritting his teeth, he said, Amelia, this is what makes you so damn unlikable. Too rational. Did you ever even love me? So now your cheating is my fault because I was too rational? I just don't think you ever loved me. And does that matter? Do you have to be so ruthless? We were together 5 years. And you hit me without a second's hesitation. The moment you slapped me, our bond was broken. You schemed against me, I'll return the favor. What did I scheme? Huh? I just stopped loving you. Is that a crime? If I don't love you, we should break up. What did I do wrong? He yelled that last line so loud it echoed. When it came to emotional damage, he never held back. You two-timed me, kept giving me hope, and trapped my feelings. You wanted to train me into your obedient dog. That slap of yours, it was the start of your test. If I didn't fight back, you'd sweet-talk me after, win forgiveness. And I'd lose my boundaries while you lost your guilt. Luis, whether you're sorry or not doesn't matter. All that matters is, you've lost. I didn't need to list his wrongs, pointless. All I needed to show was the consequence. Cutting deep? That's my specialty. Luis's face flushed red. That's all in your head. You're punishing me over paranoia? His voice cracked, bluster hiding his fragility. Yup, I treated you like shit. You got a problem? Feel free to kneel and say it. Luis, losing patience, he stopped arguing. Instead, he threatened, Amelia, you hit me too. You'll be detained as well. Don't think only my job's at risk. You better calm down. Don't do something we'll both regret. I don't care. Appeasing you isn't worth it. You make me miserable? Then you'll suffer too. I was contact hashtag 10,000 in his phone. I didn't owe him kindness. The moment I struck back, I was ready for the consequences. Luis looked stunned. He realized my toughness wasn't an act. He didn't have the spine to fight me. After a long pause, he deflated. I'm sorry. It was my fault. I shouldn't have hit you. Give me another chance. I'll pay for your medical bills and lost wages. Stop. You're only apologizing because things are out of your control. If he had broken up with me properly, we wouldn't be here. He was in a rush because he hadn't told Pablo or the company yet. He thought if he calmed me down, it'd all go away. He didn't know that the day we left the police station, I'd already posted on social media, visible only to Marco, to the vendor Luis took kickbacks from, and to every rival competing for his job. The trap I laid hadn't even sprung yet. Losing Pablo's support meant he couldn't handle anything. He'd have to return the dirty money. His power would be stripped. Marco would hold him down. One criminal record wasn't enough to get him fired, but it was enough to bury him forever. He was suffering now, but worse was yet to come. Everyone pays for their choices. I chose to pay voluntarily. He'll pay unwillingly. There was no settlement between us. Everything would proceed by the book. 3 days for me, 5 for him. Chapter 10. During my 3 days of education, Nestor came to visit every single day, staying for hours each time. I asked him, how the hell did you manage this? You've made the police station feel like home. He answered frankly, my dad pulled some strings. I'm impressed. Your dad's still willing to help you out and hasn't told you to stay away from me? Nah, he actually likes you. Said real business people need a bit of a gangster vibe. He wants to have dinner with you when you're out. How about it? I didn't expect Nestor to attack from this angle. I replied, we'll talk about it later. He didn't push, just smoothly changed the subject. He told me word had spread at the company. Pablo had been caught completely off guard. Marco was a sharp operator. He'd already greased all the right wheels. Promotion was likely this year. Eva was planning to transfer out. Her relationship with Luis had always been kept under wraps. Barely anyone knew. Cameron may have been moved to a chill position, but he still had influence. He'd put pressure on those in the know. Getting his daughter moved somewhere quieter and away from drama? Not hard. Eva was obedient, not stupid. Fresh out of college, she still had better things ahead of her, in love and in her career. Luis was clearly doomed to become the scapegoat in Marco and Pablo's power struggle. Eva had no reason to waste her family's resources on saving him. A man who never respected her from the start. Who made her the other woman? The fact she didn't kick him while he was down just showed she still had reason left. Eva was growing fast. I couldn't help but sigh. By the time Luis gets out, everything at the company will have changed. Is that what you wanted? Nestor asked. Yes. And how do you feel? Calm. Good. The world isn't always fair. I did what I had to do. Luis gave me his worst. I returned it in kind. The result might not be perfect, but it was enough. Enough to soothe the injustice and pain I carried. Making peace with myself. Choosing not to dwell in suffering. That was what I needed. Once I let go, Marco soon came to me with a sincere business proposal. Because of work, I saw Eva again. She had been promoted, had a new boyfriend, and sometimes chatted with me over tea. From her I learned that Luis was still trying to pull strings to get transferred, but he had offended Pablo, offended Eva, and with Marco pressing down on him, no one wanted to take on that hot potato. Eva still confided in me more than she should. After one such update, I asked, "You still really hate him, don't you?" She flared up. "Of course I do. My beautiful first love, he destroyed it. I knew you were the one who helped send him down. That's why I could transfer so easily back then. You're ruthless. I knew it from the moment we met. You were beaten so badly, yet calmly ate dinner. Not a single hotel staff dared gossip behind your back. You have no idea how powerful your aura was." When the news of Luis's downfall reached the company, I realized I still underestimated you. I panicked, worried people would find out I was the other woman. No one would care whether I was tricked or not. I had no choice but to ask my dad for help. He told me to let it go and just transfer. But I hate Luis so much. My dad said you left him a road that looked open but actually went nowhere. If I really couldn't let it go, I should just work hard. Once I'm in a higher position, I'll have all the time in the world to mess with him. Eva once again gave me a deep dive into her inner world over casual conversation. As for the man she swore to torment for life, I still saw him from time to time. We had work ties, couldn't be avoided. Every time we crossed paths, he was always busy. Anyone could order him around now. He never tried to start anything with me again. Whenever he saw me, he walked the other way. He still had his job, a family, his parents' pride, and foolish hopes of making a comeback. But he'd never dare provoke me again, because I had nothing left to lose. I knew, deep down, he never thought he was in the wrong. People who cheat rarely feel guilt. Their apologies are just fear wearing a mask. But none of that mattered to me anymore. My only lingering curiosity was Nestor. After a recent business meeting, I asked him, "Hey, remember how Luis looked when we had our second mediation? When he saw you?" How he looked. Nestor thought aloud. "Scared? Took you this long to bring it up?" "Yeah, what did you do?" "Just told a few friends who worked with his company that he could really hold his liquor." What a creative way to ruin someone. I gave him a look. "You're evil. There's a world of difference between a respectful drink and being forced to drink." Nestor grinned. "So, when are you finally having dinner with my dad?" I grinned right back. "We'll talk about it later."